One of the most popular strategies in print on demand is to come up with funny sayings, text sayings, and put them on t-shirts and fine art prints. The problem with this one is it's boring. And so in this video, I'm going to show you 3 methods that you can use to really punch up your text designs inside of Kittl. Let's jump in. If you've never heard of Kittl before, let me introduce you. This website is amazing. There's a ton of great looking templates just like this. You can click and move things inside the templates, and you can change text and elements very, very easily. There's also a huge library of resources here and tools that you can use inside of Kittl. Now, I'll put a link in the video description below to Kittl. Just a heads up, it is an affiliate link. That just means if you purchase the Kittl subscription, I would receive a small commission. Method number 1 to punch up your text designs is text distortion. So here's my regular design. Monday should be optional. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put this inside of a coffee cup using the text distortion method. So over on the left-hand side, I'm going to click on Elements. I'm going to type in coffee. And now I'm going to look for a coffee mug here. So I'm going to scroll on down. And I'm going to use this one right here. This is a good looking mug. So I'm going to get rid of my text altogether, and I'm just going to click on my mug, make it nice and big. Now I'm going to click on the text button on the left hand side. I'm going to click add headline. That gives me a nice little tiny headline. I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to type in the word Mondays. I'm going to stretch it out, make it nice and big here at the top. And I'm actually going to change the font here as well. I'm going to go over here to the right hand side. I'm going to pick a font that I like better. I'm going to pick this Milk Store font. It's a little bit skinnier. I'm going to align it right here. And now I'm going to put the rest of the saying inside the coffee mug. So I'm going to just simply copy with Control C and then Control V. That's going to give me another little piece of text. And I'm going to type this in one word at a time. I'm going to double click it and type in should. I'm going to do the same thing again, Control C, Control V, type in the word be. And then I'm going to do this one more time, Control C, Control V, and I'm going to type in the word optional. And I'm going to stick it right there. Now here's the key. I'm going to distort this text to make it fit inside the mug. So I'm going to take this first one here, should, and I'm going to click over on the right hand side this distort button. It's right there. And what will happen now is you're going to see these nodes that pop up. And then you can stretch these nodes and make it exactly the right size. Now because this mug is relatively straight, it's not going to look that crazy here at the top. But the one at the bottom that says optional, I'm going to click on distort. And I'm actually going to move this just inside the mug. So by moving the nodes, I can make this fit the mug exactly. Then I'm going to click B. I'm going to make this a tiny bit smaller. I'm going to leave him as is, but I'm going to draw a little line in here. So I'm going to go to Elements, click on Align, and I'm going to make it the exact same color as the mug. I'm going to click on Object Color. I'm going to make it black, and then I'm going to move this down so it's right there, and you can see it aligns perfectly. So I'm just going to make this line just a little bit fatter so it sits like that inside the mug. And you can actually hold down the Alt key and just drag a copy over. That's kind of a nice feature too. And you can see the guidelines as well. But if you really want to align it, what you can do is click on one, hold down the Shift key, click on the other, and then you can align them both, in this case to the middle. So they're perfectly aligned. You can also group them together. So I'm going to right click and click Group, and then you can actually center it in your design as well. So you could center the mug, you can center this. Now because the mug is a bit off center because of the handle, I'm just going to move this over, and manually you can see now it moves so it's in the middle of the B. So you can align it pretty easily. And just like that, I've made the mug design really stand out because now the text is fitting inside the design. Text method number 2 that I use quite a bit is text offset. So here's my 1977 design. It's a white background. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to flip this. So I'm going to make the background now really dark. So imagine a really dark t-shirt, for example. Let's say a dark red t-shirt, just like that. And I'm going to click my text design now, and I'm going to make it white. Now from here, I'm going to use the text offset. So it's pretty easy to do. When you've clicked on the text, you're going to see a text bar open up here. And I'm going to click on this little A+ effects. It's like a second tab that sits over here. And we can see there's these offset designs, this shading that sits here. And so I'm going to click on, for example, this one. And we can see 3D shadow. This one is block shadow. This one is line shadow. And then this one is drop shadow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this shading one. And I'm going to make the shading a slightly different color. There's a color button right here. And I'm going to make the shading, for example, yellow. Well, just like that, I've made the design, I think, way more interesting if it's sitting on a t-shirt. And it's very easy to do. Another thing that I like to do is this third option, which is the block shadow. The block shadow is really cool because you can really make this as big or as small as you want. And the offset you can really push down. So this is the third one inside, the shading. It's called block shadow. And you can make it look quite retro if you want. The third text method is to use text decoration. It's actually really easy to do. So here's my black background, my white design, which says simply the word Toronto. When I click on the text, I'm going to see here at the top, I've got the text effects button, the A+ effects button. I'm going to click on it, and right underneath shading, there's a whole nother set of decoration designs, and they're called decoration. I highly recommend that you check these out. When I click on the first one, for example, you can change the color, and then you can make this now different depending on the weight or the distance of the actual lines. So the fourth effect is probably my favorite. It's called the fading color cut. And what you can do with it, with the different distances, is you can make this sort of look like it's fading like water rippling. So I'm actually going to highlight this and turn it into Berlin. So I'm going to make the design nice and big. And then over on the left, I'm going to click on elements. I'm going to type in the word Berlin. And in this case, I'm going to click on the city. I'm going to turn it to be white. And this is a very nice t-shirt to have, just like that. You can put this now on a shirt, and you'd have the word underneath it. You can actually reverse this out if you wanted to have the white touch the city. So instead of the text color being white, I'm actually going to change it just by simply clicking here. And then I'm going to select the second text color, and I'm going to make it white. So we can see now it changes. It goes from white to gold rather than gold to white. I really hope you found this walkthrough helpful. I love using Kittl. There's so many different graphics. There's so many different templates. You can spend hours and hours having fun designing. And that's really the most important part, is to have fun while designing and make some sales too. Here's another video on how you can supercharge your print-on-demand journey using the powers of Kittl.